Doom. The Dark Ages system requirements. Doom. The Dark Ages requires high-end hardware, 8-core CPU, RTX 2060/AMD RX 6600 GPU, 16GB RAM, NVMe SSD. The Ultra 4K preset demands an RTX 4080/Radeon RX 7900 XT or newer graphics card for optimal performance. Doom. The Dark Ages features ray tracing and a powerful soundtrack, among other things. Ray tracing-capable GPUs are essential to unlock the game's stunning visuals. To fully enjoy the game in 4K, you'll need top-tier CPUs and GPUs. Doom. The Dark Ages demands powerful hardware for a smooth, immersive experience. The minimum PC specs for Doom. The Dark Ages have been released by ID Software. The game requires a graphics card that supports hardware ray tracing, which was also a requirement for Indiana Jones and The Great Circle, ID Tech 7. The game uses the ID Tech 8 engine and the specifications note 60 FPS performance, which suggests the game should run well with the recommended hardware. Minimum resolution/FPS 1080p at 60 FPS. Visual settings low. CPU Intel Core i7 10700K/AMD Ryzen 5 3700X. GPU NVIDIA GTX 2060 Super/AMD RX 6600. Recommended resolution/FPS 1440p at 60 FPS. Visual settings high. CPU Intel Core i5 12700K/AMD Ryzen 5 5700X. GPU NVIDIA RX 3080/AMD RX 6800. The game will require 100 GB of SSD space and at least 16 GB of RAM. Doom. The Dark Ages will release on May 15, 2025. To run Doom. The Dark Ages with basic performance, your system should meet the following minimum specifications. Operating system, Windows 10, 64-bit, or Windows 11, 64-bit. CPU, AMD Ryzen 7 3700X or Intel Core i7-10700K. GPU, NVIDIA RTX 2060 Super or AMD RX 6600. Ray tracing support required. RAM, 16 GB. Storage, 100 GB SSD. These minimum requirements will allow players to run the game at 1080p resolution with 60 frames per second on low settings. However, expect to make some compromises on visuals for a smoother experience. Recommended system specifications for optimal experience. For those looking to enjoy a more refined experience with higher visuals and smoother performance, the recommended specifications are as follows. Operating system, Windows 10, 64-bit, or Windows 11, 64-bit. CPU, AMD Ryzen 7 5700X or Intel Core i7-12700K. GPU, NVIDIA RTX 3080 or AMD RX 6800. Ray tracing support required. RAM, 32 GB. Storage, 100 GB SSD. With these specs, gamers can experience the game at 1440p resolution and 60 frames per second with high settings, ensuring both performance and visual quality are well balanced. Moving up to Doom. The Dark Ages recommended specs, processor requirements jump a few generations to Ryzen 7 5700X and Core i7-12700K. My prior CPU recommendations for the previous tier remain the same here. However, you'll need double the RAM at 32 GB as well. Higher performance of 60 frames per second at 1440p using high settings naturally calls for a more powerful pixel pusher, as GeForce RTX 3080 and Radeon RX 6800 fit the bill. Current generation offerings I'd use in their place include GeForce RTX 4070 Super and Radeon RX 7800 XT. Ultra/4K system requirements for the ultimate visuals. For those with top-tier hardware, Doom. The Dark Ages offers ultra settings for a 4K experience. To fully experience the game in 4K resolution and at ultra settings, the following system specs are recommended. Operating system, Windows 10, 64-bit, or Windows 11, 64-bit. CPU: AMD Ryzen 7 5700X or Intel Core i7-12700K. GPU: NVIDIA RTX 4080 or AMD RX 7900 XT. Ray tracing support required. RAM: 32 GB. Storage: 100 GB SSD. Gamers who meet these requirements will enjoy an incredibly detailed 2160p experience with 60 frames per second, showcasing Doom: The Dark Ages' cutting-edge graphics and ray tracing effects. Additional notes for a seamless gaming experience. To ensure smooth gameplay, players should note the following. Ray tracing. A ray tracing-capable GPU is essential to fully experience the game's advanced visual effects. CPU requirements. A multi-core CPU with at least 8 cores is necessary, even for those meeting the minimum specs, to ensure stable performance. Memory requirements. While 16 GB of RAM is the minimum, 32 GB is highly recommended for a more immersive experience. As Doom: The Dark Ages aims to push the limits of modern hardware, it promises to deliver an exceptional adventure with stunning visuals and high-quality gameplay.